Hey everyone, so by the title, I'm sure you guys know, but I got a job. So, yes, I received 2 offers after boot camp. It's been about 2 months. Yeah, about to be 2 months since I finished the General Assembly Coding boot camp, and I have 2 offers. The first offer isn't software engineering, but it is a role. It's with software implementation and software training. And the other role is the other role is with the early technology development program at a technology firm. I don't know how much I can actually say just yet. So once I know what I can actually say, then I'll reveal where I currently will be working or where I'll be working soon. If you see somebody walking around, well, something walking around with my sister's dog, I'm dog sitting for the day. But yes, so I got 2 jobs and I'm gonna make a decision about which one I want to end up going with. But I think you guys know which one I'm leaning toward. So the role with the technology development program is for an application development analyst at a consulting firm. So I'm very excited about that. It's here in Atlanta, Georgia. As you guys know, I wanted to leave Atlanta at least for a little bit, but as it has it, I'm going to be here in Atlanta at one of the consulting firms here in Atlanta. I'm very excited and ready to start this journey, and I'm very thankful, and I want to talk more later. I think in a future video, I'm going to talk about how I feel like I got these roles, both of these offers, because one heavily relied on my network. The other one, I used a lot of I applied to places with previous experience. So for me, my background's in healthcare and healthcare administration and medical records. So I extensively use EMRs, which is electronic medical records, that was my job duties, and so I heavily used those. So I was like, okay, and so for a lot of you that have been asking me, which is like what I said, I'm probably gonna also do a separate video on this. A lot of you have been asking me about how the job search is going and how networking is going. And one thing that I want to, one tidbit I want to drop, just in case I decide not to make that video, one tidbit that I want to drop is that think about the things you used to do or use and apply to those kind of companies. So for me, I left my job like that, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to go back to that. But guess what? I use electronic medical records. I use all these other tools. Why don't I apply directly for those companies, And now that everybody needs a developer. That's one thing I think we forget, is that everybody needs, if any company, let me rephrase that, any company that has a website needs somebody to manage that website. Anybody that has any kind of services or products that they're trying to sell or have users use, even if it's free, somebody has to be maintaining that. So this dog, can you chill? Thanks. So think about that when you're applying for roles. I know it's very easy to be like, oh, I want to work for Google. I want to work for Accenture. I want to work for Microsoft or this place or that place. But use your brain and think about some of the things you use. For instance, some of you maybe work at restaurants right now. That restaurant may or may not be owned by a chain. That chain has a website. You probably applied through a website, or you probably, used some kind of tool or had to put in an application somewhere. Somebody has to be maintaining that. So look at the group that the restaurant owns, like that. Look at the group that is owned by the restaurant or owns. Look at the group that owns the restaurant. Guarantee you, if it's a chain, they have a ton of those, and there's a need for that. So for me, I told you I worked in mostly healthcare. Well, what's one thing that everybody in healthcare really touches is electronic medical records and the EMRs. So at some point, I don't remember because it's not on my job tracker, which some of you have asked me for it. So I'll link it down. It might not be at the time that I've dropped this video, but in the future, maybe in a week or so, I'll drop the job application tracker template that I used. People in healthcare, we use electronic medical records all the time. So what did I do, or what was I thinking about doing before I came to that realization? I went and started applying for jobs or roles or software engineering roles at these companies. So because I'm like, one of these EMRs, which is one of the ones that ended up hiring me, one of the electronic medical record companies that ended up hiring me, I've touched it. When I really look at my experience, I've touched it for about 4 years, like on and off about 4 years of experience. And that was part of my selling point. When I was there, I was like, I can confidently say there's probably not anything in oops. I can honestly say there's nothing in this particular EMR I haven't touched through my various roles, because I've had various roles at various companies with the same EMR, and I've had it with other ones, but some of the other ones I didn't like them. So that's my selling point as a user. When a user wants to do something, I know some of the flaws in the system already. I already know how it works. I know what's good, and I'm quicker to identify the issue if it needs resolving, especially with implementation. I'm quicker to understand how to resolve the issue, because I've probably experienced that issue at some point throughout my work experience using one of these EMRs. So that's number one. And number two, for the other place, we forget sometimes about the skills that we have, right? So one of my main things was when I worked as a medical scribe, I worked with very diverse groups of people. And one thing that I've learned throughout my time in the boot camp and through this interview process is you have to be able to communicate effectively and well. How do you hone that? Well, whether you work in a restaurant or you work not in software, there's going to be times and different experiences with people who don't know technology, or they may not know it as well as you, or they may not understand a concept if you're trying to teach another developer, right? So that's how you can kind of change and tailor like what you already have to what you already know, like maybe you work at a bakery, or you work something like that, or you work for your parents' restaurant, right? Maybe look into something you heavily use. Maybe you look into one of your vendors. They might, if it's a bigger vendor, they may have some roles open. You can talk about your experience working with that. So I can tell you that for the role that I'm going to end up going with, which is the consulting job as an application development analyst, I can tell you that I extensively did my homework, but as well as that, I heavily relied on my experiences and tailoring my experiences to software engineering, if you will. Meaning, there is nothing that you probably haven't done on your previous role that cannot help you as a software engineer. And you just have to hone in on that. The hardest part about the software engineering job or like trying to get the role is the technical interview, because most of us are not coming from technical backgrounds, so we're not used to that. But everything else, like behavioral interview, killed it. My recruiter told me my final interviewer gave me a perfect score on my interview. So, one thing about me, I would kill it. I always, if you give me the interview most of the time, well, maybe not in software engineering world, but you give me the interview, the behavioral portion of the interview, I'm going to kill it. I've always killed it, because not only do I interview well, but it's because I already have a lot of experiences that I know that I've have stored in the bank. So as soon as they're like, tell me a time about conflict, I'm like, oh, boom, this. Tell me a time where you've had to help a coworker or talk to a coworker about XYZ, boom, this, boom, this, boom. I don't even have to think about it. Sometimes I play like I'm gonna damn line. Okay. And then I'll go into it, but I already know. You need to practice your interviewing, but you have to be confident. You are going to get the role regardless. Eventually you'll get the role. Eventually what happened, your capabilities. I have no idea. With this consulting firm, it's for cloud certifications. I didn't know what the cloud really was. I had to study that for the interview, because I asked the recruiter for my final interview, what is there anything I can prepare? And he was like, well, it's cloud based. And he was like, so you're probably gonna be working with cloud. So I was like, okay. So I went and researched the cloud, tried to understand as much as I could, and the different softwares and systems in place and things like that, so I could sound at least a little bit educated for my final interview, because I had to prepare a showcase where I created a presentation and I tied my medical background with AI. That was my technology showcase. I wanted something I could confidently talk about. So I'm saying all this to say that I don't know anything about what I'm about to do. I have no idea, but you have to have the confidence that you'll be able to learn and that you'll be able to figure it out. I know I'll figure it out, and I'm very excited, because I feel like, cloud specifically for the healthcare system, I can easily see how, and the consulting firm is not a healthcare firm, but one of the clients probably is healthcare. that's going to be a whole new wave. And I have a ton of experience in that background to say, hey, like, you can put me on a project with Kaiser. You can put me on a project with, I don't know, Epic or whatever. You can put me on those projects because I have extensive background with it as a, you know, in my previous experience. So I'm saying all this to say, don't be scared, you know, apply, just apply. I applied to so many jobs that if I got a rejection, it was literally like water off my shoulder, because I was just like, well, whatever, marked it on my tracker next, because I applied for so many, you know, and end up with 2 offers. One that's actually software engineering offer, and one that's more software implementation. But irregardless of that, both of them have significantly increased my income. So keep those things for food for thought. So what I want to do next, I'm kind of updating you guys. I'm probably not going to post this frequently just because I'm going to be preparing for this job. That's number one. I still have a few more videos that I want to drop before I might be taking a little bit more of a break. But I definitely am going to be, I think I definitely need to do a video on the job search process and like tips and tricks that I found that are very beneficial. That's number one. And number two, I want to do I want to do a video about different roles in software engineering. I'm about to turn this pandemic, or this panini, or Panamera, or whatever you want to call it, this parallelogram, into a bandemic, okay? Some of you will get that, most of you will not. But a bandemic means multiple roles, multiple incomes, things like that. And one thing I've been really looking into in the meantime lately is looking at system admin jobs. They're apparently, it's not super hard to get, but you can self-study for them and take them. And so I'm going to be talking more. I think I'm going to do a video. I will be doing a video, because that's my next plan. And I want to kind of introduce it to you guys, because had I known about systems admin, or like Salesforce, or Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud roles, they're not necessarily easy to get. They're kind of on the same like timeline or wavelength of the boot camp, where it's like you kind of have to network your way into a job. But the ability to study for them, the shorter amount of time that you need, and the ability to be certified in them, and at least you could be making, like, I know systems admin, the average is between 60 to 90 starting. I probably would have maybe tried to do that first, and then maybe moved into software engineering. Now that I had like a significantly higher income, if I still felt like I wanted to be a software engineer, don't get me wrong, I enjoy coding and I love it, but you know, I may have made that step. For those of you who are debating doing a boot camp, because you know, financially this might be a better option. I know the Salesforce admin certification program is only $100. So $100 versus $14,000, I think it was like $14,950. That's a big, with no loan. And you can self-study, or you can pay for a Udemy course. So I plan on doing a video about that. One of my next upcoming videos will be about that, because I do plan on getting one of those. The job I'm going to be starting is going to pay us to do one. So I'm going to do one, and I'll talk more about that. I'll introduce it and then maybe do my thoughts about it later, just to give you guys some information for those of you who are struggling about the financial part of coding bootcamp. So hope this video helps. I hope you guys are happy for me. But you know, as always, I've had a few of the highly requested videos that I will be doing, but thank you for following me on this journey. I'm glad, you know, I have a little people. So no. Thank you for following me on this journey. You know, I hope that by watching these videos, this helps you. I try and keep it as honest. This dog, I feel like I've moved so many times because of my sister's dog keeps touching my ring light. But I hope this video like inspires you or motivates you or helps you. I try and keep these videos as honest and as open as possible. I tell you guys, if I don't know something, I don't know. If I'm not feeling something, I'm not feeling it. You know, I want to keep it as genuine and as open as I can, because I think that's real. And why not? If it can help somebody make a decision, you know, like I said, had I known about these certifications, I might have went a little bit of a different route first, but you know, it happens. You know, it happens. So, I mean, I'm here where I am now. I successfully earned. It wasn't given to me. I earned it, and I worked hard to get there. A role about 2 months. We're not even 2 months, but about 2 months after the coding bootcamp. So I will be doing updates on that journey, as well as dropping other videos and hopefully helping you guys out about other roles that don't involve the boot camp, going to a boot camp. So I hope this helps. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it below. Like and subscribe. As always, I always forget to say that, but yes, like the video, subscribe, or share it with somebody who you think may need it or may want to hear it. But I'm proud of you. I know it's a hard journey out there. I know I don't have a you specifically that I'm speaking to, but I hope you guys continue to watch this channel as I continue to progress through the tech journey, but as well as add other tools or things that I think might be beneficial or helpful. If you guys have any resources or anything you want me to talk about that you think might benefit others, please let me know, and I'm more than happy and willing to do a video on it. But until then, as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in my next video. Talk to you later.